Oh, how about now? Should have audio now. We should have audio now. I'm hoping. It takes a little bit. So, sorry about that. Woohoo, there's audio. Okay. Sound works. Sorry, everybody. So, as I was saying, it's been a busy week for me. And Saturday, we had a baby shower for my upcoming baby that will be born in November. And then we had family in town on Sunday, so I couldn't do my usual GM prep on the weekends, is what I was getting at. And then Tuesday, I had to write and edit the video that went up today, so there was a lot of stuff going on. And then, so I usually play D&D on Wednesdays, which is right now, and we're going to play in 2 hours at 6:30. It's 4:30 my time. So I'm going to prep this just an hour before, and we'll see what happens. I kind of read the chapter before, so it shouldn't take me too much. But yeah, for those of you interested, I am drinking a Fat Tire as it's just beer o'clock. And so I'm done from work, and yeah, it's D&D. Thank you for all the congratulatoriness. Really excited to be a dad. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Let us... Okay. I'm going to lose audio again because I just realized that my microphone is messed up for all of my settings. So 1 second, we're going to transition and then I'm going to fix the audio. Oh, never mind. We still have audio. We're good. We're good. Yes. That's the problem with like plugging and unplugging mics, and then Streamlabs OBS. I still have the same mic, but it's recognizing it as a different mic. So I would not be surprised if my desktop audio doesn't work either. I'm going to test that really quick. Yeah, that doesn't work either. So let's go to... Was it sculpted by the gods? Oh, my hair. I just have thick hair. I think we want to do this, and then I want to test it. Nope. Technical difficulties. My bad. Oh, well. Don't really need desktop audio, but I kind of want it. Tell us a dad joke. I don't have any dad jokes at the moment. But let's check out our Isle of the Abbey. So my players have been commissioned to... or they were hired by the Mariners Guild. Yeah, the Mariners Guild. And they want to create a lighthouse on an island. There is going to be a... on this island is a burnt out abbey and an evil cult, and we're gonna do it. We're gonna say that it's a followers of Shar, because the adventure doesn't really give the fact that there is. It doesn't explain which god it is, and I've been trying to use some of the Greyhawked deities, but I've decided that I'm just gonna use Shar because I'm more familiar with Forgotten Realms, and that's kind of what the adventure, if you're gonna place it in the Forgotten Realms, said to use Shar. So they're gonna be a cult of Shar. This abbey got burned down by pirates, and the pirates were then run off and destroyed by the Mariners Guild. But the Mariners Guild can't land on the island because a bunch of undead rise up whenever they're on the island, so they can't do that. So they've hired my adventurers to clear out the undead, to find out what happened in the abbey, and basically make sure that it's safe for them to come aboard and build their lighthouse. This adventure seemed longer when I read it a long time ago, but like kind of glancing over it today, I think it's going to be like a 1, maybe possibly 2, but no more than 3 sessions of D&D. So they should, by the end of this, be level 6, I think. So yeah, I'm going to move my microphone a little bit. So over here is Isle of the Abbey, and I have the Mariners Guild wants island. Ooh, that's not good. 4. I need to move that. No, yes. There we go. I'm running into all kinds of technical problems today, guys. There we go. Okay. Fantastic. So they want the island for a what's the word? Lighthouse. But there are undead problems. The Minotaur is the island before this. The Minotaur is in the adventure before Isle. No, this one has like a glass, like crystal Minotaur at the end of it. Spoilers. So they've agreed to do this. We've kind of already done this part here. They're going to visit Major Ursa. They're going to contact him. He's about 6 hours away. That's wrong. Oh, the island is 2 hours away. He's about 6 hours away. And the only place to get ashore is the sandy beach. There is mechanics for them to try out getting, like, climbing the side of the rock, but they're not going to want to do that because they're going to take a bunch of falling damage. It's going to be really difficult. So we're gonna lead them towards the beach, hopefully. The pirates know how to navigate the undead somehow, but he does not. I'm not sure about the abbey on the island. He's never reached it, nor has his friends. They are already there. So now we're getting to the island. So there's an undead maze, which is over here in the book. So here's the island. And here's the base of the island. So this small little section right here is actually this section here. And then there's a maze. So this is like a minefield almost. And I don't think you guys can see that super well. But it's a minefield, and they're going to roll a wisdom perception check. And that's how many squares they can move correctly. So they're going to follow like footprints in the sand, because this is the route that the pirates take. So however long, and then after that, they're going to walk randomly. And wherever they walk, they're going to run into this. So I have a board that is... what's the word? I have like a dry erase board, and I think I'm going to draw this, and then they can like walk through it. Thank you, Babes and Board Games. I had a good time making that. I kind of want to make more solar system videos. It should be fun. And then when they run into a square that has 6, that's how many skeletons rise up and attack them. So if they go here, that's 6. If they go to 12, that's 12 skeletons. That happens an X amount of time. The characters continue to move 1 square at a time, awakening skeletons and defending themselves until they navigate their way across the dunes safely, or slay 20 or more skeletons. Once they slay 20 skeletons, phase 2 begins. And that's where we get some skeletal swarms and a skeletal juggernaut that are in Appendix C. I want to see what the stats are for those really quick. Appendix C. Here we are. Skeletal swarm. Skeletal swarm. And skeletal juggernaut. So the skeletal juggernaut is challenge rating 5. They're 4 level 5 characters. Multi-attack, makes 2 claw attacks, and has avalanche of bones. So that should be a fun one. Vulnerabilities to bludgeoning, which is good for my players. Skeletal Swarm is challenge rating 2, so that should be a pretty good fight. And so they'll fight 3 swarms and 1 juggernaut. The swarms begin within 60 feet of the party, and the juggernaut begins within 240 feet from the party. Once the skeletons are defeated, the Skull Dunes poses no more threat. So that's going to be the main thing tonight with, I think we're going to get to this, but in case they blaze past that, we should be good. But fight 20 skeletons, then boss skeletons arrive. Do you feel there's a difference between your prep time for a module game versus a homebrew game? Oh, 100%, Bart. Module games, I'm reading it and kind of refamiliarizing myself with it and making talking points. We're not going to do my Ghosts of Salt or my Shadowfell game, but that's a homebrew game. And that one I'm more like coming up with stuff on the fly. Like, where do I want them to go? What do I want them to do? This one I'm figuring out how to lead my players through the module. So some would say railroading, but I would discourage that word because it's here's the adventure. If they want to take it, they don't. I was actually talking about Ghosts of Saltmarsh recently because to a friend that there are all of these side quests in the back. So if your party really didn't want to take this adventure, like they want it because they want money, so they took this adventure. But if they didn't want to take this adventure, they could have easily gone to the forest, and there's like a whole side quest in the forest that it gives you a little bit of information for that. Or they could go sailing, and then there's a whole side quest for sailing and various sites that they can visit. So it's really cool. I like it a lot, and I think this is, although it is strung together adventures, I think it's a well-written and cool adventure to run. So, and then I was looking at these Skaldun complications. One of them is 3 manticores arrive. One of them is a bunch of quippers in the thing, some more skeletons, a random pirate that's hurt that could give them some information. But I think if time, so we'll say if time, we're going to have 3 manticores show up. How do I spell manticore? Yes. And we'll have an extra fight. So I think I'm going to work that in there because I feel like they're going to get through these undead skeletons pretty quickly. But if there's time, I want to do these 3 manticores to show up. We'll kind of figure it out. And I think I want to foreshadow that they are flying around the island. If players arrive during the day. We'll see when they actually decide to show up. So we're going to add this manticore fight. So rather than rolling randomly, I think I'm just going to steal the one that I like. And then we get to the Abbey Ruins. And so we'll say Abbey, ABB, Abbey Normal. Another amazing thing about Saltmarsh is that almost every NPC has requests for the players. Yeah, they could spend a lot of time in Saltmarsh. Like, there's just lots of stuff going on there. So I have been really enjoying the openness of Ghosts of Saltmarsh. I like it a lot. It's not sandboxy 100%, but it's kind of like, here's a campaign setting for Saltmarsh and Greyhawk, and then here are a series of adventures that take place there. It's just kind of cool. So we have the survivors. These are the evil clerics. So we'll say survivors. Excuse me. Evil priests or followers. We'll say followers of Shar. And then I know what Shar's holy symbol is, like a big black circle, so we can put that kind of around and do some stuff like that, so that should be fun. And those who want to make religion checks, none of them are good at religion, but if they get lucky, then they'll know some information about Shar, and so that could be cool. So we have Ozymandias, who is a priest. We have Odium, who is a cult fanatic. We have Bayleaf, a bard who is a mercenary. We have Ogmund, who is a gladiator, thuggish brute. We have some disciples and guards. Disciples and guards. The way I was reading this, I was curious about how many people are watching. Let's check that. Cool. The way I was reading this is that they each kind of have their own information. So the party can come in swinging and just attack them. especially if they figure out that, I mean, the island is guarded by undead. These can't be the best cult members. But if they want to like talk to them, these cult people are also kind of stranded on this island, and they can't get word out to their other followers of Shar to get information back on if they should stay, if they should be protecting this holy site, etc. So they can be negotiated with, is what I'm trying to get at. Especially these three. And then this guy is a thuggish brute, and he's going to try and attack them. I think the guards are going to follow orders and try and think that they're maybe pirates, and so attack the pirates because they're kind of on guard, so to speak. The guards are on guard. But yeah, like Ozymandias is a priest, and he's a cleric basically. He's got some cool holy symbol that protects him against some of the Winding Way passage, which is something we'll get to later. He can be talked with. Odium is a cult fanatic. And then I have like history for them if they run into him. He will draw a rough map of the Abbey for 200 gold pieces, so they can like talk to him. He really wants to leave, so we'll say especially Odium really wants to leave. Draw a map for 200 gold pieces. Bayleaf can be bought. Willing to help within reason for gold. And I'll figure out how much gold on the fly, I think. But Ogmund is the interesting one where there's no negotiating with him. Yeah. So, no negotiation. I can't spell. Negotiation. Did I spell it right? I guess I did. Good job, Jordan. You spelled the word. I'm so bad. Foreshadow, I spelled that wrong. Battle grid, battle forward. Yeah, that's a battle grid. Okay. So those are the survivors. Then we get to, they can be hostile or conversational. And it all kind of plans around on this common area. Because in the common area, that's where a lot of this stuff is going to go down. So we're going to say common area. Ogmund is there with one acolyte and one cultist. Will attack, requests the party surrender. My party will not surrender because they are egotistical like that. So yeah, this will be most likely a fight. But they can talk their way out of it. Development, the other characters, yeah, survivor's response. So where was that? Survivor's response. Swords drawn and blazing. Once combat begins, the survivors fight to the death except for Bayleaf. He fights and then he tries to run away. The cultists try to... Ozymandias and Odium remain in their rooms casting spells through the doorway. The veterans try to keep Ozymandias safe. Conversational. Ozymandias is the first NPC to arrive, followed by the veterans from Area 5, 7, and 8. Okay, so Ozymandias and others will arrive in, it doesn't actually say, but we'll say 2 rounds, or earlier if conversation is happening. The Church of Shar is a central villain in my homebrew game. That's awesome. I love me some Forgotten Realms lore. If the conversation is happening. Or, yeah, if that was technically correct in my brain. Okay. And then I think the rest of it, so they'll kind of fall in from here. These statues, I was confused about, because those are statues, those stars. And I was confused about the statues. Yeah, this, and then we're done. Like, that's such a short, it's a short chapter. They just have to get through this area. Which I won't get. I read this earlier, so I apologize. I did some prep without you guys. I'm awful. Hello, Bub Creature. How are you? Because I was paranoid that I wouldn't have enough time to draw all of the maps and stuff. But those statues, here they are. Okay. So the small statues and figures are all made of glazed clay and poorly fashioned. The two large statues are made of stone. Each one stands on a square base. They were used as scarecrows in the garden. The island's birds stopped being afraid of them. One of them is like death, and the other one is like a Medusa. They weigh 700 pounds. They're not worth anything, really. A character who has a passive perception score of 14 or higher notices the floor of the statue of the Medusa shows evidence of wear. Looking under the statue, a character can discover a hidden compartment in the statue's base. And that's in 9. Which is right here. Okay, so those are those two statues. These must just be other statues. Let's go 12. Oh, Minotaur living statue. So that's the living statue. Okay. All right, those are what the statues are. So that makes sense. They're just statues. And then we have some crossbow traps. We have lots of pit traps. Yeah, it should be good. I think this will be a fun evening of D&D. And I feel pretty good about it. What am I missing, though? Am I missing anything? Have you guys ran this? So, do you feel that you need stat blocks in your notes because players may tend towards violence, or do you have all that separately so you're not flipping through the books mid-battle? So, Andrew, I use a Chromebook, and I have most of this on D&D Beyond, minus, I have all the source books, but I don't have the adventures, minus this adventure. So because of that, I have most of the monster stats I just open up as new tabs on D&D Beyond. Like, we'll go to D&D Beyond, and I can search for, oh, goodness. I can search for Acolyte, and then I'll just keep this open for my game. And so most of the monsters I'll have on my Chromebook, and then the ones that are in the book I'll have in the book. And I've noticed that that has really cut down the amount of books that I have at the table, obviously, but it frees up room for dice and for my notes and things like that. So I really like it. And then I also can use these notes that I write right here to help me out. But I think we have this whole thing pretty much good to go. So they already got the hook, and they're willing to do this for 2,000 gold. So they'll suit up and gear up is kind of tonight's thing. And then they'll meet Major Ursa. They'll get a little bit more information. They're already hooked. I don't know why I have that there. They'll go to the island with the undead maze, which I need to draw. And then once they're done with that, they'll go to the Abbey and either guns ablaze or try to talk their way out of it. Either way, they'll have... If they talk their way out of it, they're basically getting past one large encounter to then go through the rest of the dungeon area and get loot. And there's a bunch of traps and stuff in there. So it'll be a heavy dungeon crawl episode, I think. So yeah. I might be done, guys. What else do I need to do? Or does anybody have any questions? Yeah, there is. I haven't even finished my beer. And then sadly, my other game, the Shadowfell game, we just haven't been able to meet. But on top of that, I've been reading a lot of Invisible Sun, and I'm really excited to run that at some point. And I need to find the right players, I think, who will enjoy a game like that. And we'll see if I can find any in my hometown, or if I need to play a game online. And if I play an online game, I might as well stream it, right? I mean, that's how it works. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for hanging out with me this fine Wednesday. I'm going to go draw a bunch of maps. I've got an hour and a half to do that. I will see you guys probably Saturday. I think I'm going to try and do another one Saturday. And then I will be set to go. Okay. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the future. Goodbye, everybody.